Welcome back. Everyone has been affected by addiction, whether it be a loved one currently battling an addiction or, sadly, a loved one who may have lost the battle already. Today, Greg Hannley, Alex Draghici, and Daniel Baldwin with Soba Recovery are here. Good morning.
Morning.
Three of my favorite dudes in the world. It's good to see you.
You too.
So there was a story that everyone was talking about, and it happened earlier this month in Chico, California. And it was a huge overdose. So earlier, police arrived on the scene of this small house where there was a small house party that had happened. 14 people had overdosed. The incident, among the worst mass overdose events in Northern California since the opioid epidemic hit the state a decade or so ago. And it offers a window into a still new phase of that epidemic. Now, I know when y'all heard about this, it obviously hit you very, very hard. What was the first thing going through your mind when you heard it was that many people? And at first we thought it was 13. Now we're here, it's 14.
Yeah.
14.
We were together in California, and instantly, as Greg does, instantly he said, "Alex, get on the phone. Give me the phone number to the city mayor." And he'll tell you what happened next. But
what happened from there?
Well, I got on the phone with the police department, and you know, Chico is a small town that I happen to know, and I knew the effects of this on the city, and I called the police department and I said, "Hey, I'll give treatment for free to any of these people."
Oh, Greg,
and they could, and she said that she would talk to her supervisor. She asked if I had called the hospital, and I said no. I figured you kind of know who to get a hold of. And I didn't hear back for a while, so I called Daniel, and then Daniel got in the mix, and then it got some attention. So we have 4 of the kids that were in that house in treatment now.
What do they think it was
Well,
that they overdosed on? I mean, I know
It
that
was fentanyl.
it was fentanyl,
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure.
I think that it's important for people to realize, particularly those who are actively using heroin, this is not done, the mixture, when they cut the heroin. So we've got, you know, this much heroin, and then we take this much fentanyl to make it cheaper. But the fentanyl is several times stronger.
Like 50 times,
Yes.
right?
So remember, this is not being done in a lab by a chemist. This is being done in a hotel room somewhere by some guy who breaks it all up and sprinkles it on and mixes it up. So you can get a hot load, and the amount of fentanyl necessary to make you OD, obviously they all got a batch,
Like
I'm gonna
a grain
guess.
of salt.
Yeah.
Right, like if you took a salt shaker and you went like that once, those 9 grains, that much more fentanyl in a needle could put you over. So
so
what
scary.
probably happened was, the batch came that everyone was gonna go party with, it was all a hot batch, because it all came from, you know, I mean, imagine mixing it, and they all went down. So Greg called me and told me what was going on. And ironically, the power of social media, I went on Facebook to the mayor, and his phone number was on there. And I called the mayor, and he answered the phone, "Mayor so-and-so," and I went, "Hey, listen," and I told him what Greg's offer was, and that we would come help, whatever you needed. And he said, "You know what? We're not even sure how many are going to live yet, but thank you so much." And sure enough, they took us up on the offer, and you know, this was Greg's doing, you know, for sure. To put that out there, to treat somebody for free for as long as they need to and everything. That's how you respond. But this is similar to one of those natural disaster kind of things for a community. Chico's it's not LA.
Right, it's
this is when like a
small.
big building collapses or something, and they're pulling.
they had mentioned to us that every single resource that they had in the city was on overload because of this.
Yeah.
They used every
I had,
ambulance,
I
every
read that
first
article.
responder.
I watched a TED Talk about a fire lady that worked at the fire department in this little town. And the town has 18,000 people.
That's it?
1,800 overdoses and 180 deaths. And she was talking about what this did to the first responders, that these are their friends' kids or people they grew up with. They all know each other. And it was really messing up them. So I was just, you know, I just saw this and thought, they're not going to know what to do. Because what happens is these guys, they overdosed. There was 3 on life support. 1 didn't make it even to the hospital. And they just let them out the front door in 6 hours. They don't. And so when I talk to the news and I talk to the people up there, because your affiliate had called. I called John also, and they said we don't know what to do, and so well we're gonna help with this.
Of course you did. So 4, you have 4 right
Yeah,
now.
and it's turning
Yeah.
into an even bigger project for us.
Well,
a
you know,
really big project.
the great thing too about this, and there's nothing great about the loss of life and the incident itself, but from these negative situations, Greg and his team at Soba are able to educate people, are able to tell them, listen, this is a disease. You know, this is not, I deal with so many people on Facebook and different social media outlets saying to me, you know, the hardline people going, they had a choice. By the time they get to sticking a needle in their arm, they're way beyond a choice. They're sick and they need to be treated.
And people need to be educated, and people need to understand the disease. So you guys stick around. We're going to have more with Soba after a quick break. And we are back with Soba Recovery. We were just talking about the horrific events that unfolded in Chico, California earlier this month. 14 people overdosing at one party. These poor first responders coming across this. And Greg, you have taken in 4 and have offered free treatment to 4, which are currently in your Soba facility in Malibu.
They're
Can't really
divided
say
up.
which one.
They're
Oh, okay.
divided
Well,
up.
but they're in one of
We
your.
actually
one of
even
them.
took an extra, the brother of one who wasn't there. So yeah,
That's great.
if you can help, all my partners were. I just sent them a message that said, "Hey, I want to help this town," and all of them responded immediately. Of course, no problem.
Y'all were saying this is such a horrific event. It's so awful, but hopefully some good can come of it, and we can educate people. And you are actually going to make a documentary.
Yeah, so it's turned into a bigger project for us because this keeps happening, and we've been doing the show, and we have treatment centers trying to fix this, and we're trying to find out whose fault is it? Why has nobody really pinpointed why it's not working? So like these kids, if they have gone through treatment before, is it one of their fault for being an addict? Is it the recovery centers? There's maybe not a recovery center there that they can get into. Is it the insurance companies that maybe aren't giving time? So we're making a documentary and digging pretty deep to the in this.
So many recovery
situation.
centers are going out of business because of what the insurance companies are doing. So our documentary covers that. It's called Death by Denial. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to help people again.
I know you will.
No.
And I think it's so wonderful that you're taking this tragedy and turning it into something positive so you can keep this from happening again.
Well, you
You're such a
get
good person,
you
Greg.
you get the rules of engagement, and they're not passed down by us.
Yeah.
So you get the rules of engagement, just like in the playoff game where there was obviously pass interference, and they weren't allowed to overrule it.
Yeah.
Same here. We can't do anything about until the government steps in about how the insurance companies have decided to turn their back and not allow these people to get treatment. So we keep looking at how can we circumvent and get ourselves around it. And I gotta tell you that this is Opitox. And what this does is it's a home detox kit. Now, it is not going to the same as going into a detox unit under the guide of a doctor, but what it does is it super softens the landing of you coming off of an opiate.
Okay.
And it's far, far less expensive. And so for those people, as we started looking around, what are the alternatives? Greg's team was going, how can we help these people who have no insurance?
And have no way to get into
No
treatment.
way.
Absolutely no.
They're gonna die.
No resources.
Well, this is front end and back end. So
Yeah.
this same thing is a pain management kit, non-addictive and non-narcotic. And you tell them.
Okay, so I'm with my kids. I'm getting out of my truck. I'm stepping out of the truck at a diner, and I don't see the black ice. And I grab the door with my right hand and the seat, and I hear, and I hyper rotate my arm. I have not been able to lift my arm above my head for 2 weeks. Greg goes, have you not tried that ointment I sent you? And I went, no, it's up in my cabinet. And he goes, come here. He goes,
Mr.
"Don't
Miyagi over
he
here."
Goes, "Don't look." No. Watch again.
works.
I kid you not. I could not take my hand to my nose for the last 2 weeks. One application last night, and I could.
No way.
And I went, "Geez, great!" And it was less than a minute.
That's
It's
incredible.
funny
So
to
this is
watch
pain
people.
management, though. So for people that are turning to pain pills and pain medication, this is pain management.
Yeah, a friend of mine had a surgery and didn't use the Vicodin. So it made him sick, and I had given him this, and we have a scar kit also that'll get rid of scars that we're doing.
But
for
even the
people
next
with
day,
track
I
marks.
mean,
You're still moving. He's still going.
I want to
Yeah.
take a tube and put it in a hot bath
Just
and
your
just
whole
get
body.
in it.
No, I
How
had to
can
put it in my
people get
neck
it?
this morning. Same thing, and it was, I had a broken neck before.
I
and
remember that,
sometimes
yeah.
I wake up and I'm swollen and hurt. I just slathered it on, and
Good to go.
yeah, it works really
I
good.
stole the tube from the house.
The nighttime tabs have valerian root and some flour, and they help people sleep really well. I was doing a sponsorship of a boxer the other night. We're in Las Vegas, and we're with his family, and stuff is going on. And, so I wanted Opitox to sponsor the fighter, and I'm telling the dad about it. Well, come to find out, the dad is addicted to opiates and starts crying.
Oxycontin for the last several years.
Yeah, starts crying. So I go out to my car and get him a box, and he calls me and I said, look, just take these tabs under your tongue and let them dissolve, and just over the next few days, see if you can do a little less and a little less. And he called me about 4 days later, and he goes, my biggest problem is I don't know what's going to happen when I run out of this. And I said, well, I'll send you more.
You don't have to run out.
Right.
No, and it relieves a lot of other things that are going on. Like he had given it to his wife who had sleep and anxiety. He goes, she's really nervous. And he goes, she's not nervous anymore.
Okay, Greg, where can people get it? When is it available? Because I know people want to know right now.
Opitox.com.
Opitox.com. It's so simple.
Opitox.com.
Yeah, and it's not like a cure-all, be-all. It's gonna help. And a detox is a 15 if you're trying to do it with nothing, and it can bring it down
Takes the edge
to
off.
a 3 to where it's just manageable.
That's
and,
all-
and a lot
that's
of
what
people,
you
they
need.
can't
That's
go to
what you need.
treatment. There's so many pill moms right now that and they can't say something or can't leave for 30 days,
Yeah.
and this can actually help.
But what's really compelling about it, and I want to just throw this in
Okay.
so people understand, there's the dissolving of the pills under your tongue to address the issue of that physical need. There's a physical craving to take, and this will soften that greatly. But also, almost every heroin addict will tell you, or any opiate addicted person, they start experiencing pain. There's the need,
that was masked
physical,
before.
but there's, suddenly my arms and my chest.
Yeah.
You just rub a little of this on you until you go.
Or get in a tub of it.
Because your message to your brain when you're in pain is, oh, let me shoot up some more dope, or
Right.
let me take another pill. And you don't have to do
It
it.
attaches to the same receptors, and so it's just it'll make it easier. I'm really happy to. I've detoxed a lot of
Amazing.
people with it.
I know you have.
It's gonna change the game. It's gonna change it.
So again, opitox.com.
.com.
All right, guys, and viewer questions, we're going to answer those after the break.
People think courage is simply walking through fear. Courage is not running from yourself. I believed getting sober meant I would lose my edge. Turns out, I was wrong. I only surrendered the things that were holding me back. But all those fears I've faced over the years pale in comparison to the courage it took me to get sober. When you think your world is falling apart, it's actually coming together. I have found my freedom and will do anything to protect it. And so can you.
And we are back with Soba Recovery. We have so many viewer questions, so we got to get started or we're going to run out of time. Okay, these are from Facebook. First question, what are the steps after the recovery process at the ranch is over? And they're talking about Soba Texas here.
Well, the first thing is stay connected. We have an alumni group that meets on Thursday. And we have sober pals where they can come visit people who don't have family on the weekend, but you stay connected to your recovery.
Even if you have to move across the state or
I'm proud to
far
say
away.
the first client we had about 5 years ago is still sober.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that.
It's like life. It's like life, really. Your parents learn from their parents, and they take the values and the things that they have, and they instill them in their kids. And as a father, I teach my kids those things. You adjust it through time, but it's the same thing getting sober at Soba. We are a family. So now, once you've got a certain amount of sobriety behind you, we hope that you're going to be involved in helping the new kid and teaching him what you learned. And we have a strong commitment to that.
I let the clients to also see their therapist privately after treatment, which is very unusual. So
To stick with that therapist.
Yeah, yeah, and they know that they can call, come. You know, this is more than a rehab; it's a community, and it's become over the years pretty big.
Yeah, and they never feel alone. No matter where they are, there's always someone to call.
Well, what's really cool too is as you disperse, you know, a lot of people, you know, Greg's facility and his number of facilities, people come from all over the world. But I still have Facebook friends that I comment to about all the way up from the first time I ever went to you. The Lars and the Bobbies and who I'll still laugh out, hey, what are you up to? Because social media can shrink that for you even when you travel. So it's really it's a family.
Yeah.
It's definitely a family.
Okay, guys, next question. How many times will you welcome somebody back?
How many times? As many times as
As it takes.
as it takes. You know, it's kind of like having a cancer and going, you've had cancer too many times.
Right.
So
We can't help you now.
Yeah, we're not going to
You're
try.
on your own.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry, is this number 6?
yeah, people, and sometimes we'll
Sky's the limit.
we'll find that maybe here isn't the best spot
they go
to
to
do it
Mesa
again.
or go
So
to
we'll have them go to Mesa
Try
or go to
somewhere else.
Malibu or do something, because there can be some influences in your hometown that can make it a little more difficult.
Sometimes it's good to get away.
Yeah.
To get away from all that. Okay, so as many times as
We
they
have
need.
a saying that we don't shoot our wounded.
I like that saying. I know that you always welcome everybody back. All right, the next question says, is this program confidential?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all HIPAA. It's completely confidential.
Nobody has to know anything.
It's not for
No.
Daniel, unfortunately.
No, you know, and other people in my position as entertainers make that choice. You know, I have a lot of very famous friends that will never go on TV and talk about their recovery. And I see it as a service to my own sobriety. Oh, you're such a good guy. Greg's such a good guy. You know, you guys go out there and help people. For me, the 12-step program is essential beyond Greg's, what they've taught me there. And in 12, it says, having had a spiritual awakening, we reach out to the addict or the alcoholic that still suffers. That's part of my recovery. Yeah. I'm helping my recovery today. I'm going to get an airplane this afternoon, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use as a result of being here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Gotcha. All right, I don't want to start a fight, but I think my family member needs rehab. How do I approach the situation? I know you get this question all the time, but it makes sense someone would be nervous because they would assume someone will get upset when they approach them.
And people do get upset. It depends on how you approach it. So if you come at it angry, you're going to get resistance. And how you want to come at this is just tell whoever it is that you're worried about them.
Right.
And that people around them are worried about them, and talk about why. And let them know that you're there for them and you want to help them get through whatever, and they can talk to you. And the main thing is to open a dialogue, because if you can get somebody on the phone, I was talking last night, there was somebody on meth that, and I go, well, I speak meth.
Let me talk to them.
Mom doesn't, and so I can sit and as a person's going, everything's great, and I go, is it really great? And they go, yeah, no, not really. And we can have a dialogue and a conversation, because most people who are in the throes of their addiction don't realize there's a way out besides death.
Gotcha.
There's two key words, very, very simple in Greg's program of how to attack this. Never say you, only say I. You and I. When you point your finger at somebody who's in addiction, usually you're going to get the snakes to start to recoil a little bit and get ready. But if you say, I'm worried, I love you, I'm scared, it's very different than
Softens
going,
it.
when you do and you did, but makes it very, very different. Just
That
say
makes
I.
sense.
Just say I.
That makes sense. All right, guys, so coming up after the break, if you are in trouble, if you don't know where to turn, if you have someone you love that you think is in a whole lot of trouble right now and battling an addiction, we're going to tell you what you can do today, like within the next 5 minutes, to save your life and theirs as well. And we're back with Soba Recovery. I mentioned before the break, if somebody's watching right now and they think maybe they're in trouble, or they have a loved one who is battling, or they think maybe in trouble, what can they do today? I mean, within the next 30 seconds.
It starts with a phone call or a text. You can shoot a text if you're at work or you're somewhere where you can't talk or you want to be private. Send a text and you can start talking to somebody.
And what do they say on the text? They don't even, if they don't even know
You
what
can
to
just say hello.
And somebody will text you back.
Absolutely.
Then start the conversation.
Yeah.
What if they're unsure if maybe, their kiddo is, maybe battling an addiction? What
wanna-
if they don't even know?
We'll
they
talk
wanna-
to them about it.
They just have an idea.
They can get an assessment.
Well, and also there are things, this sounds silly, but are you missing any spoons? Do you find erratic pieces of aluminum
Mom's
foil?
intuition
We
is
know
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
We know
And
stuff
if
to
a
ask.
mom thinks something's going on, it's because something's going on.
We're always right.
Yeah.
We do know. Okay, so you can text or call Soba today. The number is there on your screen. They will answer your call. They will answer your text, 210-727-2692 or sobatexas.com. Guys, thank you. So good to see you.
Good to see you, Carl.
Sometimes we do things for the thrill. Sometimes we do things for survival. There have been different points in my life where I didn't know if I would survive. Seek humility, or it will find you. I have faced many fears, confronted many challenges. Having the courage to overcome the beast of addiction is by far the biggest victory of my life. True victory is victory over oneself.